All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to BrainFrame Thursday. Let me just start the recording for us. Oh, it started by itself. Wonderful. Welcome, everybody, to BrainFrame Thursday. My name is Vanessa Marish, for those new people on the call, and I'm an empowerment specialist at Salt Essential IT. So thank you very much for joining today. We are very honored to have with us our partners Impax, and specifically Mary, who is going to be taking us through the session today. So welcome to the Impax team as well. As you know, BrainFrame Thursday is built for us to connect our Namibian customers with an international vendors, international expertise and skills. And Impax really is at the top of that list of our partners. They are special. Well, I'm going to let Mary introduce herself and also tell you a little bit maybe about Impax before she jumps in. So I'm not going to take up too much of your time anymore, but just before I hand over to Mary, I would like to advise that unfortunately, one of my colleagues is sick that had to coordinate the event from allowing people and checking the messages and all of that. So unfortunately, she is sick today, but I have a lovely lady, Kathleen, or Kathy, as we call her, from SALT on the call, and she is going to just stand in for myself and Grace while we cannot be here and, provide support if there's anything that you need. So we'll try to keep the session to 1 hour. It will be followed up with a feedback form so that if you want to have a meeting or have more information, have pricing, have a demo, POC, whatever is on your wish list, you can use that feedback form afterwards. We'll share that as well as the recording on email with everybody who registered. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Mary for her session today. Enjoy.
Thanks, Vanessa. And just maybe before I begin, maybe I can let Rebecca tell us about Impax, then I will proceed to the system demonstration. Rebecca?
Hi, everyone. My name is Rebecca. I hope I'm audible. My name is Rebecca. I'm in business development at Impax. So a quick intro. We are a company based in Nairobi, Kenya, with a branch in Uganda. And for purpose of this webinar, we specialize in reselling Microsoft solutions. So feel free to drop any questions that you may have matters Microsoft. So I'll hand over to Mary to take us through the topic of the day.
Thank you. So I will straight ahead go to sharing my screen. Maybe Vanessa, you can confirm whether it's visible and then we can start.
Yes, Mary, we can see your screen.
Okay, so I am going to start with giving an overview of the Power Platform. Apologies, just one moment. I'm having a technical issue here. Apologies for that. So I am going to give an overview of the Power Platform. And by definition, Power Platform is a set of tools that allows us to create business applications. And by business applications, I mean applications that you can use within your organization. That means that you cannot expose this to external facing parties like on Play Store. You use them within your organization. Power Platform is a low-code set of tools, and that means that you do not have to be an experienced or seasonal developer to be able to use the tools within the Power Platform. So experts within the business can be able to participate in creating applications within the Power Platform. Power Platform has got about 4 components: Power Apps, Power Automate, Virtual Agents, and Power BI. So Power Apps, the first one is used to create quick apps, mobile apps, and both as well as desktop apps. Power Automate is used to automate business processes. Virtual agents are essentially just chatbots, and then Power BI is used for reporting. Then this is how the components speak to each other within the platform. So we have got at the middle here, we have got those 4 tools. The first one being Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and the chatbots. Then below here, we have the data that sits beneath those applications. We have data connectors to almost about 400 data sources. We also have AI Builder. This is where you integrate AI to these platforms. And then we have Common Data Service or Dataverse, where data within the Power Platform sits. Then at the top here, this is where we have our security model. This is the one that defines who has access to what, who can see what, and who can even edit what. So we have Dynamics, we have Office 365, we have Azure, and we have security based on the other business applications that you are integrating with Power Platform. So basically, Dataverse is usually at the center of these apps. This is what we call our database in quotes. It's the Dataverse for all these applications. And again, we are using Power BI to analyze the data that we have. We use Power Apps to do things or act. Then we use what we call Power Pages to interact with our customers out there. We use chatbots to speak. And then we use Power Automate to automate different processes. Some of the advantages I'd like to highlight about the Power Platform include reduced budget and time constraints, because these are already existing applications that we just build up on. Then we have, since business experts can be involved in creating these apps, then business expectations are most likely to be met. Then we are leveraging existing technology. We are not creating anything from scratch. That means we will not be reinventing the wheel. Then security and compliance is already taken care of by Microsoft, so you don't have to worry so much about security. Again, we are saving on cost because we are not hiring experienced developers to create applications for us. We have unrivaled collaboration and seamless, limitless innovation. So I'll switch into the application itself, and I want to begin with Power Apps. And under Power Apps, we have got 3 kinds of apps that we can create. The first one is called Canvas apps. And just like the name suggests, it means that you will be creating applications from a blank canvas. And those applications can be mobile apps, and they can also be desktop apps. So the other application we can build with this platform is called a model-driven app, which I'll get to later on. And then we have also Power Pages, or what we refer to as Power Apps portals. So I can begin with a Canvas app. So if you're a complete beginner, we have got very many templates that you can begin with, and you can select the kind of a template that you want to use, and from the template you can be able to learn from that template. So when creating a Canvas app, you're required to authenticate yourself. For example, here you can see we are connecting to a number of data sources. We are connecting to Office, to Note, to OneNote to Planner and to Outlook. So you need to authenticate yourself when you're creating these applications, and that is part of the security model that you have underlying this platform. So if you're coming from a template, it will be already set up, and you can use that template that is already developed to edit and set it up to meet your business needs. So you need to give those permissions as part of the authentication. And as you can see here, we are working with, we usually work with screens. So you can have a welcome screen, you can have a home screen, you can have a camera screen, and all these kinds of screens that you can edit to speak your business language. You also have the function here to preview. So you can preview and see if this is how you want the application to look. You can also switch the layout here. So these are usually optimized for tablets and mobile phone. So you can be able to preview here and see which is going to work best for your business. Now, the other way that we can create Canvas apps is from a completely blank canvas. So you can select whether you want to begin as to optimize it for a tablet or for a phone, and then provide a name for that app. And then now from here, you have full control of the look and feel of the application. So again, we are pulling data from the different data sources that we have. And as I had mentioned, we have about 400 data connectors to different data sources. And this could range from enterprise database systems to Microsoft products to even custom applications. So here you have the option to begin from a gallery. In this case, I want to connect to a Dataverse table where I have customers. And as you can see, the application is able to pull that information directly from my database. Other things I can do is I can add or insert text fields. For example, if I wanted to give this application a name, I can fill in the name of the application here. Then I can beautify it. I can add background colors and all these things. And again, I can be able to preview it and see how it's going to sit in the user's mobile devices. So as I mentioned, you don't have to be a software developer to work with these applications. As you can see, I'm not writing any code, but to define the behavior of certain components of these applications, we use what we call a functional language called PowerFX. It's very similar to what we use in Excel. An example is here. So for example, you can fill in its expressions similar to what we use in Excel. So if you're already familiar with Excel, the transition to Power Apps is going to be very easy. So I want to stop at that for the Canvas apps and move to the next kind of apps, which is model-driven apps. And just like the name suggests, these apps are built on a data model, and those data models are relational, meaning you're working with different kinds of tables, and those tables have got relationships. So for example, let's say you run a business that people can book buildings or certain rooms within a certain building. You can have a table called, let's say, building, then you can have rooms, then you can have maybe capacity for certain rooms, and then you can have bookings for each room. So the relationships there that will be defined could be, you have got one building, and then one building has got many rooms, and then one room has got many bookings. So basically, you are going to define a set of tables and their relationships, and then use that data to create your application. Now, this is a little different from what we've seen under Canvas app. Canvas apps are able to use data from very many different data sources, but for model-driven apps, this is strictly uses the Dataverse database. So you'll be using only the Dataverse database. I want to show you an example of a model-driven app here. So I have built a series of tables and their relationships, and then here I don't have control over the user interface or the look and feel of the system. Microsoft already has that already set up. So maybe I can quickly show you how we create model-driven apps. So again, you can start from a template, and you can also start from scratch. It's good practice to always give your app a name and then proceed from there. So unlike Canvas apps, here we are not using screens, we are using what we call pages. And these pages will be referencing a certain Dataverse table. So after setting up your tables, you're going to then select them here to be used as pages within the model-driven app. So let's say I have a list of customers who we work with. I have got, let's say, buildings that are the building that is being booked. I can add that, and as you can see, that is automatically generated for me, and I don't have control over the user interface. So the data that I have here Dataverse. At that point, I want to move to the next component of the Power Apps section of Power Platform, which is Power Pages. So Power Pages are simply portals or websites, and this is the only component that is external facing or that is accessible to external users. So if you have customers who you would like to maybe raise issues, you can create a Power Apps portal and then expose it to them, and then they can be able to you can be able to interact with your customers from that portal. So again, we have a long list of templates that you can create from. We have a community portal, we have a customer self-service portal. If you have a partner out there that helps you bring in leads, you can use a partner portal, and you can deploy that in your environment and then expose it to the respective target audience. So this is an example of customer self-service portal. It's a template within the Power Platform, and this can be exposed to your customers, and it's getting its data from Dataverse again. And the customers can use this to raise the issues that they have, any support items that they have, and this data is then going to be pushed back to Dataverse. So again, you can create a portal from blank. That was just an example of how we can use a template to create the portals. The next item under Power Platform is the Power Automate. So we have completed with the Power Apps section. We have looked at Canvas applications. We have looked at model-driven apps. And we have also looked at Power Apps portals. So the next item is Power Automate. And like the name suggests, we use Power Automate to automate different processes that we run within your organization. That could be automatic sending of emails, it could be automating your approvals and such kind of scenarios. So again, we have got a number of templates. If you're a complete beginner, this is a good place to start. I have seen a lot of use cases in the workplace include maybe notifications and approval processes. So we have got a very long list of templates that we can use to automate the different processes that we have within our business. Again, we are using many data connectors here, and I can just highlight some of the connectors that we have here. We have about 400, and these are connecting to many data sources, from Microsoft products to custom applications to enterprise level databases. These are some of the connectors that we have. We even have social media, all this. So we have got different kinds of Power Automate flows. we have automated cloud flows. These are basically work with the concept of a trigger and an action. So when something happens, we want something else to happen after that. We also have instant cloud flows. These are started by a manual process, such as the clicking of a button, and we have got scheduled workflows. These are flows that are triggered by a timer. So for example, you might want to send your manager a certain report through email every Monday morning, or you want to run a certain report every month, and so on. So scheduled workflows are going to be triggered by a timer. So let me create one flow here from a template that we have. Let me use an approval here. So I have seen many business cases that use approvals. In this case, I'm going to do start an approval when a file is added to SharePoint. So all you have to do is click on that template. And again, as I had mentioned, one of the security models that we have here is you need to authenticate yourself in order to be able to run these flows. So you need to make sure that these all are authenticated. And as you can see here, I'm connected to Office, I'm connected to approvals, to Microsoft Teams, and to Outlook, and then to SharePoint. So for SharePoint, you need to specify the SharePoint site that you're monitoring. You also need to specify the entity you'll be monitoring, and then the specific files, as well as the person that is going to be the approver. In this case, I'll just then I will create the flow. And then maybe to just give a summary of what's going on here, we have got the name of the flow and a description of what it's doing, the owner, that is the person that has created it. And then we can turn off and turn on our Power Automate flows. So if you don't want it to run anymore, you can turn it off. We have the timelines of when it was created, the type and plan. Then we have got our connections here, and then the owner of the flow. So just show you what is going on underneath this process. So we have got a list of a series of steps that is happening here. And as you can see, the trigger here is when a file is added to SharePoint. We want to send an approval request. And then we want to notify the person that that their document has been approved by the approver. So to run this a particular flow, you will perform the trigger action. So in this case, I can just go and upload a file under my SharePoint. And simply upload a file here. Then when you come back to the flow, you'll be able to see the 28-day run history. So all the runs, all the times that this flow will run, you'll be able to see if that has been successful or if it has failed. So let me just upload it somewhere else. So this approval process is going to be happening on Microsoft Teams. So these applications can work individually, and they can also run together. So we have that seamless integration between these applications. So for example, when I'm asking for an approval for this SharePoint document, that approval request is going to be happening in my Teams. Just a moment. It's taking a bit of time. Maybe I can just show you the kind of approval request that comes in through Teams to the approver. So this is an example of the approval request that comes in, and the approver can fill in the comments if they wish, and then go ahead and approve. So that is basically how we use flows to automate different processes. So if you want to send out approvals when something happens, then we can leverage Power Automate. So this is why I was saying that you can be able to see the run history. You can be able to tell if your flow failed or it ran successfully. Maybe I can highlight one more thing that we can use with flows. So we can run flows manually as well. And for that, we use what we call an instant cloud flow. So you can start with doing something manual, and then the flow starts running. So I will select this action for this case. So the manual process in this case will be to click on a button, but you also have the option of creating an input. So if you'd like the user to input something, then they can fill that in as well. So let's say I want to create a task in Microsoft To Do. When this button is clicked, I can maybe ask the user to input a text, and maybe I may also want them to input the due date of that task. So that is going to be the trigger, and then the next step here is going to be in Microsoft To Do, I'll ask the system to create for me a task. So quickly. So if you already know the name of the action that you want to take, it's very easy. You just need to search for it, and then the system will look for all those list of actions, and then you will select the appropriate one. So in this case, I just want to create a to-do. So just say I want to add a to-do. Then I can, again, I am being asked to pick the wrong one. So here I'll specify the to-do list that I want this to-do item to be added in, and then I will have a title there, and then I will save this and try to run it. Now, since our trigger is a manual trigger, I will go ahead and test it out manually. And again, we have that authentication security model going on. And then I'm going to, my trigger here will be to fill in the title of the task, and then the due date, then the flow is going to run. So when I come back to my to-do application, I should be able to see the task that has been automatically created by my flow. So essentially, what we are saying is there's an endless capabilities that you can do with these applications, and you can see we have got many templates you can create from, and you can also create these flows from scratch and automate the different business scenarios that you have within your organization. Because of time, I want to move to the next aspect of the Power Platform, which is Power Virtual Agents. And this is where we create our chatbots. I know this is a very interesting topic. So this is where we are going to be creating our chatbots. And we have, let me just go through what we have here. So we have got an overview of the chatbots that we have. We have got topics. And by topics, this I mean the different things that maybe your customers are asking out there, or the things that you're talking about in the conversations that you're having with the bot. So we have got a few that come with the application, such as greetings, thank yous, goodbyes, so on. So some of those are already created within the application. You don't have to create them again, but you also have the option to create your own conversations that speak to your business. Then you've got entities here, and these are they work with the text that the customer or the person that you're interacting with in that conversation, and it's able to pick and extract pieces of information from the text. It's able to look for specific words that are being typed in and then give the appropriate response. And we will see how we create that as well. Then we have analytics here. So if you want to see a report for a certain chatbot, you can see that as well. So again, we have integration to Power BI here. It's seamless, and you can be able to see how a certain chatbot is doing. Then we have publish capabilities here, and you can be able to publish these chatbots in your website. If you're doing out a trial, the system gives you a demo website where you can try out your chatbot before migrating it to your actual website. So other areas where you can publish chatbots is social media platforms such as Facebook, Skype, Slack, and so on. We can also have scenarios where internally you want to utilize chatbots. For example, if you don't want people in the organization to speak directly to maybe system administrators, you can have that embedded in Teams. So if people have questions, they can just ask through a chatbot. So we have got many channels again here that we can use to embed these chatbots. So maybe we can quickly create one chatbot. So we have the name of the chatbot here, and you can specify the language that you want this chatbot to speak. I'll stick with English for now. And again, you don't have to be an experienced developer. As a business expert, you can create these chatbots as well. So the first thing that you need to do is identify the topic that you want to work with. So let's say I'm running a fitness center and I want to have a conversation about opening hours. So the trigger is going to be when someone asks about opening hours. So here I'm going to add these phrases that AI is going to pick up and give an answer to the person that is asking. So these do not have to be specific to what the person is asking. They can be they can vary slightly, but so long as the keyword is there, then AI is going to be able to pick that up and give the appropriate response to the person that is asking. So I can say maybe opening hours, opening time, and so on. So after identifying my trigger, the next thing that I can do, I've got a list of actions here that I can do. So maybe I want to display a message to the person that is asking, and I want to tell them that I can help you with that. So the next thing I can add as many actions that based on the conversation that is happening. So when someone asks a question, I want to display a message and tell them that I can help them with that. The next thing maybe I can do is ask them a question, and a question can be of many kinds. It can be multiple choice, it can be open-ended, it can be all these kinds of questions. So in this case, I want to go with multiple choice questions. So maybe I run a gym and a pool. So maybe I can add those options here. So what's going to happen here is the option or the option that's selected by the user here is going to be stored in a variable, and then it's going to create for me sort of a condition of branching here, and then based on what the user selects, then we can proceed with another action below there. So let's say they select pool. The next thing I can do here is maybe I can display another message and tell them that the pool opens at this time. Then if they select gym, I want to display another message here. It opens at this other time. So again, I have got an option to use this variable that has been selected at the top here, and I can even specifically tell them that the pool opens at this time. So maybe I can quickly input that as well. In this case, I will use the variable that has been stored in the previous step here, and I can do the same for this other side. And so the message is going to be displayed as the pool opens at 8, the gym opens at this time. So we can quickly save this and test it out. So we can test it within the context of creating this bot, and we also have the option to publish it on a demo website and test it and see how it's going to work. So let's say we have the bot here and someone asks for the opening hours. So they only need to have the keyword. If they have the keyword, then the bot is going to pick that up and give them the right answer. So you can see it's picked up that I'm asking about opening hours. It's displayed for me that it can help me with that. Which option would I like to access? So let's say I select pool. It's going to give me the answer that the pool opens at 8. Sorry about the typos. And you can see the way as you're testing out your bot, you can see when every stage runs, you can be able to see it's been highlighted in green, meaning that it has run successfully. So the other way that we can test out a bot is to publish it to a demo website. We need to publish it first. We have got a demo website here. And again, you can test it out with a keyword. You can see the results. So this can be a good testing platform before you migrate it to your actual website. Other places you can publish it is, as I mentioned earlier, your social media platforms, Teams, and so on. So let's say I wanted to publish it on Teams. All I need to do is select the specific channel, turn on my Teams platform, can choose to share it with everybody or with certain people within the organization. And then when you come to Teams, you can be able to see your bot in here. So if you have any questions that you want to raise within the Teams to a bot, you can be able to have those functionalities as well. So these applications do not have to work alone. So you can see we have those interconnections and seamless integration to all these other event productivity apps within the Microsoft suite of products. I want to finish up with Power BI, where we are doing reporting. So Power BI allows us to create visualizations to report on the data that we have within the organizations. And the first thing that we do with Power BI is to get our data, and that means we have got access to very many data sources. So we have got all these data sources from Excel to CSV to XML to SharePoint to even other third-party applications, even custom applications. So you can be able to get data from all these applications. So if you have Excel, you can connect directly from here, get your data from where it's sitting. Then after getting it, the next thing you do is to transform that data. And that means if you'd like to maybe change the naming of certain columns, if you want to remove certain columns that may not be really necessary, you do that under the transformation stage. And then finally, you load your data into Power BI and then begin now creating your application, your report. So we have got a number of dashboards here or visuals that you can use. You can use pie charts, you can use, all these are available to use. So let's say I want to use a pie chart, all I have to do is drag and drop or just click on it. And then from the data that I've gotten from my data source, I can select what I want to see in the visual. So if I wanted to see the total sum of sales by, let's say, country, all I have to do is select that and I get a very beautiful visual here, and I have the option to change colors, fonts, and so on. If I wanted to see, let's say, a summary of all the total amount of sales we've done for a certain year, I can use what you call a card, and I can say I want to see the sum of sales. And you can see very quickly the report shows me the total amount of sales for that particular year. Other things we can do with BI is to add filters, and that will be able to filter the data that is shown here. So from this, you can be able to come up with this kind of visualizations that are very that are showing you the insights into the data that you have within your organizations. We have very many kinds of visualizations that you can do, and you can make them as simple as or even as complex as you'd like. So I want to stop at that and then take questions. If there is any questions, this is the time to raise them so that we can address. Clarifications, comments. Right, if there aren't any, then I think I will hand it back over to Vanessa.
Mary, that was a good presentation. Vanessa, are you there?
Hi.
Yeah. Hi, Catherine.
Hi. I believe Vanessa, she should be back now. Just a second. I think there is
Okay.
some sort of glitch there. Just give her a second.
Okay.
Seems to me that Vanessa is out. She won't be able to respond now. Her device is totally off. But
Okay.
I believe that will be a feedback form for more information. If more information is needed, maybe pricing or a demo or so forth, then I believe she will share it with all the participants that was on the call, or everybody that was on the call.
Okay. That's fair then, Catherine. We will
Okay,
remain
so
available to provide the additional information or
yes,
detailed case scenarios on how Power
okay,
Apps can be useful.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, Mary. This was a very informative session. And yeah, I believe that anyone that has or would like to know more on the Power Apps and so forth, they will reach out to Vanessa also, and then we'll get back to you. So thank you, everyone, for being part of the session. Until next time, we will be adjourning now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Catherine. Bye-bye, everyone.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
bye.